got it. So we quit.
We quit.
Yep,
We're
totally
done.
done.
We're
Out.
done.
Yeah.
Totally.
But
I'm
what if
sure everybody's
yeah.
scanning and saying, what are they quitting? They're quitting? Or are they saying, finally, finally, those guys, they're quitting. They're quitting.
Yeah. You know what? We quit trying to defend AI,
Yeah.
like
Convincing people over and over and over that it is not ruining the world in the photography genre, but
uh is
it
it
is.
doing some negative things? Of course, but
So, so I had a conversation the other day with one of our attendees that attended our Salt Flats workshop,
okay.
and we were talking about editing, and he says to me, "Oh, that AI stuff is just ruining everything." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "That AI stuff is terrible. I will never use AI." I'm like, "Why not, man? It's pretty incredible." I said, "It's made my life easier, faster. It's really fun." He's like, "It's terrible. It's fake." I'm like, "Well, let me ask you a question. What are you going to do with these pictures after you take them?" He says, "Oh, I'm gonna edit them." I said, "Okay, awesome. Like, that's great. I hope you do because they need some editing.
Yeah.
Even the best photographer edits something, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna put it in Lightroom and edit it." Okay, I said, "So you're gonna slide some of those sliders?" "Yeah." "Okay. Is your picture exactly like it was came out of the camera after that?" "Well, no, I edited it." "Exactly. So whether you edit it or
AI edits.
AI helps you,
Uh-huh.
it's the same thing. The picture is fake," right? According to him. I'm not saying it is, but according to
Yeah.
him. So we've been discussing a lot, right, about AI.
And I think a lot of people think like, "Oh, yeah, but if I use AI, then it's taking me out of the equation."
Yep.
It doesn't have to take you out of the equation.
Not at
I
all.
can still edit the pictures I like, the pictures
Yeah.
I want to do. So,
Totally. You know, it's been really fun. It's like the tools keep getting better and better. So the thing that I was blown away with is like version 26, the new latest version of Photoshop, and then the latest version of Lightroom Classic, and then Lightroom, whatever they call it, the mobile or the web one. They all have this new editing tool in it for AI, like AI removal. Like that AI distraction removal.
yeah, so we have the distractions. Talking of distracting, we're somehow in that mode, not the side by side mode. We're popping back and forth. I don't know if that's something we can change once we've started,
It's sitting
but
on the multi-speaker view, so I don't know.
okay. So anyways, yeah, you can remove distractions. So, now in Photoshop Lightroom, you can go in there and say there's power lines, remove the power lines. And AI finds them and removes them. And then people go, wow, some people will say that's cheating.
Yep.
I remove power lines all the time. And yes, there are some people obviously that will say, yeah, that's cheating as well. We don't live in a perfect world. There we go. It's all side by side now.
I mean,
We don't live in a perfect world. There's power lines where there shouldn't be. One of
yep.
my favorite spots near my house to take images, it's got giant power lines that run through it. Well, I don't want to lose that epic view just because there's power lines. I can
Sure.
remove them. They're easy to remove. Now they're even easier with AI.
It honestly is like magic what this brand new tool is doing. So we had the AI uh, you know, remove tool before in Photoshop, right? The little brush, way better than the clone brush or way better than the old what did they call the other one before? It was
Healing brush and that kind of
yeah, but
thing.
they call it something. It was like, I don't know, remember. But anyways, this new brand spanking new one in version 26, you can use that tool and then you can say find distractions, your little button on the top, and you can scroll down where it'll say, power lines or people.
Yeah.
I was telling you, I did a picture that we took 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We were shooting a ballerina down in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard at the Kodak Theater outside. And she was way up on the third story on the little walkway. And I had probably 50 people in this shot.
And
I
after
hit
we took that shot, we got kicked out because
Yes,
we're
that
not.
one. Remember, yes,
Yeah,
that one.
okay, I do
So
know.
I hit the remove people button, and then hit the negative and then took her out of the removal section.
Yeah, yeah. So you said
It took
save.
out all 50 people, redrew railings, stairs, bushes.
And
Like
now she's all by herself in the
she's
Kodak
by herself.
that area.
It's epic. It's
Yeah.
absolutely epic. I mean, I could have done that before. No, I actually couldn't on that picture just because I wouldn't have been able to redraw everything that it put in there.
I daily use the AI generative expand
Yeah.
tool just simply because I need a quarter of an inch more on one side to expand. And that's all things that, yes, I used to marquee it and make copies and drag it out and do all those things, but now it does it for me. And you got to get over the idea that, oh, I'm cheating or AI is ruining
Yeah.
photography. No, use the tools we have.
And so I am finding though, when AI first came out in the Adobe products specifically, I found people were very hesitant to use it. I'm finding more and more we have to make that quote argument a lot less of how great it actually is.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's still kind of frustrating sometimes because the genie is out of the bottle, and you're not going to stuff AI back in.
No,
It's here,
exactly.
and it's here to live. We were talking earlier about a story from our Salt Flats workshop, actually, of one of our friends, Henry, right? So he came out to the workshop, great photographer. Henry's awesome, but he's been editing. He's an event photographer, so he takes like 8,000 pictures a day when he's doing an event. And he's
Yeah, he
like,
said he might do like a Spartan race or something. He's
yeah. And he
all
was
these
saying,
things.
I've been pulling my hair out for years trying to cull the pictures and edit them. So he's been using a tool to do that. Uh, Imaging, it's called. And
Mhm.
he loads his whole workflow up there. It culls them for him. And he was showing me live how this thing was working there. It was super cool what it
Yeah.
was doing. And it's not doing it completely by itself. It's learned what your editing style and
It does. And
everything
it
was.
asked him questions. It's like you want to eliminate pictures that are very similar or less similar
Yep.
or, yeah, those kind of questions to call.
So it culled him through. So it took, a huge batch of pictures and basically gave him based on his previous edits of everything, because it's learned his style and what he likes, and gave him the selection. So if he has 5 pictures that are same, it says, okay, here's the pictures that we would pick, right?
Uh-huh.
Agree? Yes. Right? Agree? Yes. So it allows it to cull instantly. Then he came up with his set of images, and then you could edit those yourself,
Yep.
or you can have the system edit it. And it did it in like 10 minutes, 1,000 pictures, and it looked great.
And here's what's interesting: if you're not familiar with, Photoshop and Lightroom and how it works behind the scenes, it creates an XMP file. It's called a boxcar file or sidecar that's attached to that file, and it's all the information that says if you're to bring this back up in Photoshop or Lightroom or Camera Raw, apply these settings.
Yep.
That's attached to that file. And that's what it was creating for him. So he was like, yeah, it did all the edits. He's like, but I have the sidecar files. So when I bring the image back up, I can now go, yeah, you did it wrong though. You needed to make this little adjustment. And he can go from where they left off and just keep adjusting.
Yep.
So it's extremely powerful tool.
It's super cool. And there's companies like Evoto. We're not sponsored by any the software companies, but like I just think, man,
Yeah.
if it's this good today, kind of in the infancy of AI, like what's it going to be by next year, 3 years, 5 years down the road? So, like I said, the genie's out of the bottle. You can't stuff it back in. Here's the thing I've been telling everybody that's been kind of pushing back against it. Like, you got to learn it. You got to learn how to make money with it, because it's is the future, right? We're not going backwards. If you're not going to get into this thing, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Do not be left behind. Like our industry is moving forward so fast, you don't want to be on the back end of this revolution. And
Naomi asked, how much time do you think you save by removing the power lines AI versus doing it yourself? Minutes on each image, So
which
yeah,
translates to hours.
if you had 30 images that needed to have the power lines removed, that could be, yeah, an extra 2 to 3 hours of work.
Mhm.
So where it's just remove them. It's pretty nice.
So it's super cool, like those brand new tools. And one of the things I noticed is like we used to see, if you talked about generative expand, right? So if you took a 4x6 picture you know, in frame
Yep.
size, right? And you want to make it a landscape rather than a portrait orientation. What did you do before, right? It was a pain to have
It was.
to do that, and you can never get the gradient right. On the version before of Photoshop, when you did an expand, you can expand that out where it generatively fills in the sides. Sometimes there was a pretty strong line actually where you could see where the points met.
Yep.
I found in
It's
this latest version, it seems to be gone. Like it's very, very smooth. So that's
Yeah,
super
yeah,
cool.
I've had a few little issues, but it's gotten so much better.
Way
And the
better.
big thing is like, for years, I've had a client here in my area that I shoot for them a gym, and they're always getting new trainers, and he'll call me up, hey, I need, I got 6 new trainers and 3 are gone, and we need to make, the pictures look the same. And, shooting on a sweep, on a paper sweep, trying to fill those edges, it can be done, but man, I would spend, I
Long
would
time.
go and shoot 6 new trainers, but I knew that I had 6 hours of editing the next day to make those pictures look right and
Yep,
ready for print, to extend the paper, because you had to shoot wider, you had to shoot,
for
you
sure.
know, you couldn't buy paper big enough, it was a 10-foot roll. It's now, oh my goodness, you just mark it out and you say generative fill and it extends the paper,
And it's good to go.
and
It's
it's
awesome.
great. It's printable. So yeah, so we are done trying to defend it, trying to convince people it's here, it's working, and it's
Yep.
getting better and better.
So
So
here's something interesting. So I don't know if everybody out there watching knows this, but like I'm a Lightroom guy. You're really a Camera Raw Photoshop guy, right? Camera Raw, Lightroom, same thing. But workflow is a little different for you versus for me. My problem has always been that Lightroom, I like editing. I'm very fast. I know it inside and out. But I had to sometimes go to Photoshop to do things like the remove tool, right? Because it was so much better. The it sucked in Lightroom. Well, this latest version of Lightroom Classic, the remove
they're
tool
adding those tools. Yeah.
is AI and it works incredibly well. It's like I don't need to bounce out to Photoshop very often anymore. If I want to use maybe some presets or something, do some very extensive that type of editing, I'll do it in Photoshop. But like it's been awesome. So if you guys aren't using the latest version of Lightroom and trying the new remove tools, do it. Do it. It works great. Anybody out there, I'd love to hear your comment. Like if you think we're crazy or you agree, put it in the comments. Like, what do you think of AI in the photo world? Do you think it's going to ruin everything? Do you think it's going to enhance everything?
And I'd like to know right in the comments if there's a software like the Evoto or something that you're using that you think works really well.
Yep.
Because we are starting to look at some of those more, we shoot a wedding, we've done a couple weddings recently, and you've got to process a lot of photos. You and I 2 weeks ago did a wedding, and we shot probably more photos we've ever taken at a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And to have a piece of software that we can rely on, we're looking in that direction.
Any Voto or Imogene, if you're listening, reach out to us. We have some questions. So
We do.
uh, we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, that's been a big topic lately, and all of our stuff is just AI. What are we going to do with it? How's it going to work? But I got to tell you, I kind of love it.
Yep, yep, yep. Quit fighting it, start using it.
So
So
here's something I would just before we get off this subject, one thing that's been interesting, like our AI evolution has kind of changed. Like when we first started using AI, when it first came out, right? We were trying to put things into the picture
yes,
rather than taking things out of the picture.
yeah. I'm gonna add a horse in the background.
Exactly. And I remember the first day that I tried AI and I sent you a message to say, hey, jump on a call real quick. We got to show you this thing. And you're like, this sucks. I can't create a horse that looks good. I'm like, why are
Yeah.
you trying to create a horse? Well, because that's what AI is supposed to do. I'm saying, no, just try doing this. Like you were so upset that you couldn't get, it
Uh-huh.
hyper realistic looking horse to be
Exactly.
in,
Uh-huh.
walking down your driveway, right? Like it's like that doesn't make sense anyways. But I think now that we've kind of realized, no, it's
Oh, it's
like
for taking out a fence post that
yeah,
shouldn't be there. The
the
stop sign
the
that,
stop sign, the orange pylon cone, those kind of things. Like So much
It's
better.
opened up a lot of areas for us to shoot in
Hmm.
that we were before going like, oh, I wish that guardrail wasn't there next to that waterfall. Now it's like, okay, little swipe of the brush and that guardrail's gone.
So I still don't understand it. Sorry, my mind is moving so fast thinking about the AI thing. So Adobe had said, yeah, you get a certain amount of AI credits per month, right?
Yes.
I still haven't figured out. Like, first of all, it's hard to figure out how many credits you have, but do they really matter? They say your system will, the AI slows down when you've used up the credits. It doesn't stop working, but it
You
just,
said yours gave you a warning. I've never
yeah,
seen a warning that
but I haven't noticed any difference in it. So I don't know if that hasn't actually happened yet, or if it's going to happen, or if they got so much pushback they said forget it. But you can buy more credits.
yeah,
I'm not going to buy any more credits, but
seems to be working fine for me.
it's working fine. So I'm going to go as long as I can and ride that train until it stops running. But yeah,
So you had mentioned about our workshop in Utah. What a great time we had. I don't
oh
know
my
that
goodness,
I think we did. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, I think, when we first
we
came
did.
back.
Yeah,
And there's no reason to rehash that other than,
but we had a great workshop last week up in the
yes.
Sierras,
Oh my goodness.
and if you weren't with us, you missed out.
The models that showed up for this workshop was unexpected.
Yes, they were kind of hairy though. That's true.
Yes. So we weren't telling anybody that this is what we were going to do. Like we knew we were going to do some fall photos, but there's a spot in Lake Tahoe that's known for having bears this time of year,
Yeah.
and we're always hoping we run into them, but it's never for sure.
But have I ever been wrong on the timing of the
No,
bears?
I think this is our fourth year of bears. The last 4 years, every time. And so we thought, I thought, they're not coming out. And I heard stories about, they were out earlier, and there was a mom and cubs, and
Uh-huh.
they've gone off. And I started getting bored. I finally walked away down the boardwalk, and then I'm like, whoa, look at, why is that guy pointing his camera that way? There they are. They're in that tree. So everybody came out, and we got these two bear cubs in a tree. I've never shot a
I
picture of
haven't shot them in the tree
a
before,
bear
so
in a tree. And that was fun. And then they climbed down, and then we're like, oh, maybe that's the end, but let's head down the creek. And next thing you know, they're popping out with mom, who's huge.
and
And
right in front of us. I mean, literally 10 feet.
yeah, she was 10 feet away from us.
It
So
was so cool.
it was
I mean,
awesome.
it was like 30 minutes of bear shooting
Yeah.
to the point where I had so many bear pictures I didn't know what to do with them.
And
But
we got some great photos, and the
oh,
people that
great.
came with us,
Yeah.
we were saying about, I really am a believer now in that Leica system. Not that I'm going to buy a Leica, but man, those images that David got in his Leica, pretty phenomenal. Like the detail in the bear and the colors were great.
Hey, speaking of David, so David did something interesting on this workshop. All right. So we were in all over the Tahoe Basin and up on the hills and playing with fall color and all that stuff. But like he brought his new drone out,
Hmm.
and it's the one the Mavic 3
That
Pro
has the
that has the
Hasselblad.
Hasselblad camera in it.
Yeah.
And so, he brings it out to fly it up over Donner Lake, and he's like, you know what? I've never taken a video with my drone. Like, huh? Because I'm always thinking drone video, right?
Me too.
He goes, the only thing I've used it for is photography. And I had seen some of his stuff online that he's been taking pictures with it, and it's looked pretty cool. The pictures he came up with
Good.
were killer. It actually got me really excited. Like, okay, I need to get a
I've
drone.
only taken pictures with my drone by accident.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
When you
all
hit the
been
wrong button.
like, yeah, I don't
But
even think of it that. But yes, you're right.
they were great. And it
That
wasn't
camera's
just that
phenomenal.
he wasn't doing the perspective, necessarily that it was straight down, which I always think of like just the flyover. But he would like there's a bridge that's in hundreds of car commercials up on the Donner Lake overlook. Well, I've always tried to get a good picture of that bridge from the ground. I can't do it because I there's trees in the way. Well, he flew his drone slightly over to the left side, got a perfect picture of the bridge without any trees in the way from the same level that I was at.
Yeah, he was just out, out of ways
Yeah,
in
it's like,
space
oh,
hanging.
there you go.
Yeah, no, it was very neat to see. It was very mind opening as far as like, ooh, a drone.
I just like, yep,
Photography is
thinking
actual
different.
is
Yep,
actual photography.
thinking different. So cool, so cool.
So we have a class coming up,
Yes.
not this Friday, but a week from Friday
Yeah, the 8th.
in the Sacramento area.
Mhm.
And if you have ever thought that you were going to take a photo with a flash, a monolight, a whatever you want to call it, some kind of photographic flashing light, this is probably the most important class you'll ever take.
I think, yeah, I think it is the most important class you'll ever take. And I'm not saying that because it's us, but we're teaching, this is called Next Steps, right? We're
Yes.
teaching the 5 components to lighting that you need to know. If you don't know these, or if you miss one, what are you doing with your life? You're just a mess, right? No, the reality is like you'll never get to the where you want to be unless you follow these 5 components
Yeah, otherwise you're just spinning dials and you're guessing.
like a madman. And we
Yeah.
see that all the time. People are like, oh, it's not working. And they start spinning every dial on their camera. And
Mhm.
if you don't understand what it's doing, so we're going to walk you through each one of these 5 components over a period of a few hours and share with you exactly what each component does and how it affects the end result.
And so when I say, if you're ever thinking about shooting with a flash, so if you've never shot with a flash, this class is for you. You probably do better than people who have been shooting with the flash for a while and don't know these things because they're learning bad habits. You're not going to have the bad habits. If you're somebody who's been shooting, for years and you just still struggle with it, this class is for
Yep.
you. If you're somebody who's maybe even taken our boot camp class before and you're like, yeah, it's kind of what you're saying. Yeah, it is. But this class is for you because there's parts of it. We see it every time in the workshop where people go, oh, yeah, it does do that. You're right. We need to be reminded. And this is
Mhm.
going to be the opportunity, very hands on class time. So our plan is we're not going to go somewhere flashy that you have, this incredible model that you don't want
Flashy,
to,
flashy. I heard that called
yeah,
someplace flashy.
you don't want to put the camera, down because you're like, I just want to keep taking these cool photos. No, this is going to be about, I'm going to learn how to use my camera and a flash
Yep.
to where I can then create whatever I want to create. Right.
My in my head, the goal I have for our attendees that are coming, and it's getting full, but there's still a few spots available, is that everybody will walk away from Friday night going, I get it. I get it. I
Yep.
can create light anywhere and have it look good.
Yep.
And it's the first in a series. So this is our next step series, right?
We're planning for 2025 to continue this next steps
Yeah.
that'll
So we
build
have we
on
have
it.
version 2, or second part of next steps, which is called Step Up, right? That's coming up in December 6th. We have had questions since we're selling right now a combo package, right, for both of those
Yep.
as an option, and it saves you a few dollars if you buy them both together. But people have said, do I need to go to this class or to the next class, right?
Mhm.
It's not mandatory. You can skip this one if you feel like you know it all,
Yep.
but I highly recommend that you come
Yep.
because I don't care how advanced you are, you need to be reminded of some of these components and go through the operation, the principles of these. So,
I agree. So
yeah,
yeah, so that's coming up a week from Friday. So
yeah.
there's still time to sign up. There's still time to get in on the class. You need to come. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative, all of the above. So
And then just keep the date open. We do have, and this is not finalized on the books yet, but we are planning on doing a family portrait workshop session
in
the
December,
Saturday after Thanksgiving. So that would be
yeah,
let's look at the
November
calendar, the
9th.
30th or 23rd,
Okay.
which, yeah, it's be the 30th. And the plan is to
Have a real family out there
have
and
a beautiful real family out there, show you what works, what doesn't work, some of the struggles that we've gone through,
Mhm.
so you don't have to go through them. We're going to teach just taking a big group and whittling it down, and how do you handle little kids, how do you handle grandma, all that different stuff going on, the dynamics. We're going to walk through that for a few hours and have some great fun. So we purposely picked it the weekend of Thanksgiving because a lot of people get done with Thanksgiving and they go, oh, by
now,
Saturday, what do I do now? Like you get kind of bored, right? You've done the
or
Black
or a lot of
Friday.
us have gone to I'm not traveling because I don't want to go deal with those crowds. And now you're going, but I've been home doing nothing for
Yep.
the last 2 or 3 days, and
So if you are around during that time,
it's going to be a good, really good class. And it's a class that you'll be able to use. Even if you don't do this for a living like we're doing and shooting families, it's still, you got your own family,
yep,
and you're going to learn how to do it the right way. So,
for sure. And then rolling into 2025, we have got a full schedule that will
oh
be
my
released.
goodness. Yes.
Released at least by the middle of December. We'll be releasing our 2025 schedule. And there's some awesome stuff
Fun
planned.
stuff.
We're doing Las Vegas Experience coming up. That'll be in March. I'll just tease that one a little bit. But we've got some really fun plans for that one this year. That's going to be a not to miss bucket list event again. Last year was great. Like, it was spectacular event.
But even today, you and I have been talking about how do we make it better? And that's how we always, do things. So this year, it's going to be better.
Oh, it's gonna be. I'm giddy almost already. It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yep.
so that's coming up. But we got a bunch of good stuff coming up. 2025. If you've never been to a Chopstick Guys event, Panoptic Chopsticks event, this is your year.
That's right.
Doesn't matter where you live. Come on out. Be well worth it. In fact, for Utah, we had 50. It actually was higher than 50%. I was going to say 50% of the attendees were from out of our home state.
Yes.
We had a lot of people from back east, right?
East
From
Coast.
Virginia, from Boston, all over the place. So
Homing.
come on out. And this year, the Las Vegas Experience will actually be part of the timing of WPPI. We tag right onto the back end of that. So
Yep.
when WPPI winds down, we wind up.
That's right. So you can come and enjoy WPPI and then roll right into 3 amazing days of shooting.
Amazing. Amazing.
Blow your mind.
I think that's pretty much it. So far, right? The one question I have for you, Mark,
Okay.
and maybe for everybody else that's watching, is just, have you noticed that the camera manufacturers are introducing product late in October?
Yes.
Isn't
Yeah.
that weird? I've never seen that happen before. Like, Canon yesterday announced 2 lenses. Nikon introduced a lens that they're going to be putting into production.
Yeah. A lot of times they hold off until the first of the year with
Sony introduced some new stuff. Like, it's kind of weird because we're late in the season.
lots of lenses right now coming
Yeah.
out. Lots of lenses. So, and that's exciting because a lot of lenses are becoming more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
So it opens
And
up.
some aren't.
Some aren't, but there are some affordable options that are coming out. So I'm excited for that.
There's a lot of third-party lenses that are
Yeah.
interesting that are coming out. I don't know.
Because it's one thing to go, yeah, you got to buy the native lenses. They're better. They're this, they're that. I think so these days. I think they're made for it and it works out well. But when it comes to photography, it's about enjoyment. It's about having fun. And if your budget is, which mine has been for years, has been Tamron lenses, Sigma lenses, they're fantastic. There's great options out there for enjoying photography.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just asked me about doing bird photography. I was talking to them about Costa Rica, and it was like, I would go this route. You can go whatever route you want to go because it's like I just enjoy bird photography. I don't need an $8,000 lens to enjoy bird photography.
Yep.
So
There's all kinds of different stuff coming out, just coming
yeah,
out faster and faster. So
yeah. So it's
it's
good stuff.
we are living in the best times ever for photography, for software, for everything. Like, never been a better time.
Never.
Ever. Never ever. But you know what it is time for?
It's lunchtime.
It's finally lunchtime.
Yay.
So we'll let everybody get back to their day, but just thought we would pop on to let you know that we are quitting.
That's right. And don't
Quitting.
forget.
Quitting.
Right?
Quitting, just quitting. And don't forget.
Yeah. Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy. Until next time, next week, same channel. See ya.
Adios.
Adios.